Hey gangs, it's time for our Unit 3A pre-test video. So this is going to be for my on-level kids, but also for my honors kids, just as a quick review of what's going on for this unit. Alright guys, so here we go. Grab your dry erase boards, marker, and a rag, and let's get going. We're going to start simple. We're just going to find the slope. So take a minute, write that down, and let's find the slope. All right, so I'm just going to look at it and I'm like, okay, slope. When I'm given a table, I want to do the change in y over the change in x, or the rise over the run. So I want to look at each of these and see what is that going up or down by. And I can see that this one is going up by 3. Up by 3, up by 3. Then I want to look at the change in y or x. What is x doing? And it's also going up by 4, up by 4, up by 4. So on your board, hopefully you're holding up your board and you're showing me what the slope is. But if you're not, if you're just watching the video, I'm going to do the change in y, which is 3, over the change in x, which is 4. So there's my slope. I don't change it to 0.75 because that would be too hard to graph. I don't know how to do rise over 1. I want to keep it as a fraction. All right, raise your hand. What questions do you have? Erase your boards and let's move on. Okay, so here are two special cases. I want to know what the slope is of each of the line. So I'm going to call this one A, and I'm going to call this one B. On your boards, put A and B, and tell me the slope of each of those. I'm going to give you a second to kind of think about it. Hold up your board when you get it. All right, so here comes the explanation. I'm going to remember that A is a horizontal line. Horizontal, the key word that goes with horizontal is hoi, which is y equals. So remember that means, oh, let me change my colors here. The O in the middle stands for 0. Hoi means I have a 0 slope. It would be y equals. If I was going to write the equation of that line, I would look and I would see it goes through the 2 right there. So it would be y equals 2. Now, we are not writing equations right now, but it's good to just kind of know that as you look at it. All right, B is a vertical line. Vertical starts with V, and the word that goes with vertical is vux, which is x equals. So this is going to be a vertical line. I'm just going to put vertical. And the U stands for, do you remember? Undefined. Remember we talked about our little slope guy? If he's over here on A, he's going 0, so he's not really moving. But over here, our little guy is stuck in the side of the mountain. Help me, help me. And he's undefined. It's so steep, he's just like dangling there on the side, like the Roadrunner. All right, what questions do you have? Hoi and vux. All right, here's the next one. Y varies directly with x. Write the function to represent x and y if x equals 5 when y equals 25. All right, so here we go. I'm going to give you a little hint. Remember when we have, oh, that is a fat one there. When we have our equation for direct variation, and it says y varies directly with x, that's our key phrase there. And we want to think y equals mx. Sometimes we write it as y equals ax. I just do mx because it means the same thing. What's missing? That's right, the b is missing. So I need to write the equation. So if it varies directly, then I just need to set up my proportion. I need to do the change in y over the change in x. I just need to figure out what's that slope. See if you can set it up. The change in y over the change in x. Set up that proportion. And then you're going to know your slope. And then you can write your equation. Y equals 5x. That's right. Remember, what was the other name that we called that slope right there? Do y'all remember? I was going to see if I could get my marker to work. There we go. That's what I want. It was called the constant. Yep, you're already thinking it. Of variation. Which is also the rate of change. It all means the same thing. All right, so here's my equation. If I wasn't sure like how to solve this one, and you're like, man, what do I do if I can't remember? That's a hard one. Like, what could I do if I wasn't sure what to do on this one? Well, remember that it's going to be a multiple choice test, so I could take whatever equations they give me, and I could plug that into the y equals on my calculator, and I could see which one gives me this. Which one tells me that when x is 5, y is 25. Oh, sorry guys, my kitty cat. She's always wanting to be in the film. Which one gives me that? So anyway, so when you get ones like this, remember that you can plug these into your calculator. I look like a football player here coloring on my board. You can plug it in your calculator and see which one works. All right, what questions do you have? On to the next one. Clear off your boards. Here we go. What is the slope? And I'm going to write this right here. The equation is, I'll do it in purple, 3y minus 5x equals negative 15. What is the slope of that? Well, I need to remember something super important. This is not in the right form. I need to have it in y equals mx plus b form. Once it's in that form, I can see the slope. So I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to do that little catchphrase, move the x, divide the y. So let's move the x. I'm going to add 5x to both sides. When I do that, my x's cancel out, and I just have 3y equals, and remember we like to put the variables first, so we're going to put that 5x first, and that minus 15 second. Divide the y, move the x, divide the y. So we're going to divide everything by this 3. So y is going to equal 5 over 3. I can't do anything with that, so I'm just going to leave it as 5/3. I'm not going to change it into a decimal. Negative 15 divided by 3 will be negative 5. Okay, so here we go. Take a look at that. What is my slope? What is my y-intercept? What is my x-intercept? Put it on your board and hold it up. All right, here comes the slope. Slope is right here in the front. It's the m. So my slope is 5 over 3. My x-intercept, remember it's y equals, I know I'm writing down here on the bottom. Some of y'all may be having trouble seeing. So y is, let me see if I can actually move that up. I'm going to move this. I'm trying to erase that a little bit. Go ahead and hold up your boards if you get them. Show me your board. I want to see it. I'm going to move this up here. All right. Oh, it did not work. Undo that. Okay. Well, we'll just leave it down there. I thought I was doing something good. All right. So my y-intercept is the b. The b is at negative 5. It's y equals 5 over 3x minus 5. The b is right here. So that means my y-intercept, where I cross the y-axis, is at negative 5. My x value would be b. But I need to figure out what's that x-intercept. Well, remember you can graph this on your calculator. Y equals 5/3 x minus 5. Take a second, put that in your calculator and graph it. Let me see if I can graph it up here pretty quick. I was trying to hurry. I'm stalling. Let's see. I'm going to graph it on here. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's right here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So if I were to graph it on my calculator, this is what I would see. So I can see my y-intercept and I can see my x-intercept. That point is 1, 2, 3. Go over 3 and we're going to go up 0. So there it is. All right, remember the x-intercepts have another name. It is the zeros. Remember, heroes stand tall, but zeros lay down. Zeros lay down on the x-intercept. X-axis, x-intercept. All right, next one. Take a look at it. Clear your boards off. Sorry that one took so long. What is the rate of change? First off, raise your hand and tell me what the rate of change is. I'm trusting that someone raised their hand and said slope. So I'm just finding the slope of this. So let's just take a look at it. I've got a point here I could use, and I've got a point here I could use. I could use any of these points that I want to, right? It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to use those first two. So the rate of change, what is the change in y over the change in x? Now remember, a lot of times we just kind of look and count up. Well, this is kind of hard to count up. I'm not sure like how much up that is. So I think what I'm going to have to do is do my points. That is 0, 500. And this one is, actually I don't even know. You know, we're going to have to label that, aren't we? So, you know what, we should do this. I hadn't thought about that. Instead of using this one right here, which point would be a better one to use? Yeah, that one right there, because it's on the 1500. So let's do that one. That would be over 50 and up 1500. So that gives me my point here and my point here. Remember I said you always want points where you can definitely see what it is. So we're going to label this our first point. Oh yeah, we're going to label them. And my second point. This is going to be xy. This is going to be xy. Let's put our 1s and our 2s. All right. I'm going to give you the formula because I always said I'd give it to you. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to give you just a minute to get all that in there before you work it. Mark, set, go. Raise your board when you get it. All right, I'm going to start putting it in here. I'm going to do 1500 minus 500 over 50 minus 0. I'm going to give you a minute to get it done. Hold your board up if you get it. 1500 over 500 over 50 minus 0. Put it in your calculator. Alpha y equals it, and you get 20 is what I got. So hopefully that's right. We're all good. All right, so let's look at the next question. What is the y-intercept? Where do I cross the y-axis? Hopefully you're looking at that and you're like, well, it's right there at 0, 500. Oh, you know what? Oh no, that's right. Never mind. I'm good. 0, 500. There's my y-intercept right there. Do I have an x-intercept? Ooh, that's a good question. All right, the answer is no, there's not. You don't cross the x-axis anywhere down here. All right, what are the zeros? Heroes stand tall, zeros lay down. All right, I'm going to circle them. It is right there. There is just one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is at over -6 up 0. This is not a 0. This is a y-intercept. That's where I intercept the y-axis. This one is my x-intercept. It's on the x-axis. All right, here we go. Harris is driving a truck from home. What does the x-intercept represent? I'm going to circle it. I'm going to give you a second to kind of look at it. Okay, I'm going to circle it. There's the x-intercept. What does that represent? Think about it a second and then I'll tell you. All right, here it comes. Xintercept, this is the time it takes for Harris to get where? To get home. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It takes him 7 hours to get home. So it's the time for him to get home, how long it takes him. Alrighty, that looks like that concludes our test, pre-test. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck on your test.